Hey guys, so I'm Sage Valentine and I'm going to do this reaction video of Fashion the Visual Album by Jason Maek and Zaena. You could tell that this was their passion project because every time they showed an interview, it was in between the different segments, you could see their eyes light up and they just seemed so happy, and it appears that it took them a long time to put this together and it came together beautifully. All of the different themes, the music, the dancing, the clothing was all beautiful. And I enjoyed watching each and every story unfold like a storybook. Now, the first scene that we saw was a man all alone, and it seemed like he was in this post-apocalyptic world, and he was sitting down eating what looked like lunch or dinner with this mannequin at the table. And then we were basically thrust into this one segment called Birthday about this man who was all alone again, but it was a different man. I got the impression that this happened on his birthday and he started reminiscing about a love once lost. And it was so beautiful to see a younger version of him dancing, and then in the end he ended up all by himself. After that segment there was Get Up, where this woman seems like she started to allow her imagination to take her to different heights, in particular while she's looking at this piece of art. And it stirs up so much fantasy that she becomes a part of this new world just because of this one particular piece. Another segment is called Fashion, that uses dolls and claymation, musicians in this band, and clothing to tell this story about this fashion model who is a doll, and it just grips you and it holds you in because you're one trying to figure out how long did it take for them to put this segment together with this doll, and then on the other hand you're just like, this is so cool. And at the end, when the clothes are presented and they change colors and patterns and you see the shoes, you're just like, oh, this is so cool. Then there's a segment called Texting You, which has these young kids who see each other in this clothing store, and then they're trying to holler at each other, I guess, and they do so via an interpretive dance, and I loved their clothes. They're like hipster, urban, contemporary streetwear. Reminded me of something that you would see on young kids in New York City, and they were just like chill and they were having a whole lot of fun. Another segment was called Rain on Me, and it featured another interpretive dance. But what will really grip you about that dance is the fact that, like, the woman begins in this white suit and she's dancing, and then she switches to this black, and this other man pops up, and it seems like she's trying to pull him into her world. And then you see him dancing and he has this like crown with like these black points, and then you see, I believe it's her wearing this white crown with black points, and then she's wearing, it's just like it goes back and forth, and it's just so beautiful. I call the clothes in that particular scene fantasy evening wear, and it really gave me like Jean Paul Gaultier, Versace, Alexander McQueen vibes in that whole scene. Then there's another scene called Models All Around Me that begins with these kids in a kitchen and they're having fun, they're listening to music. You have one guy cutting the other guy's hair, this girl's dancing, this other guy is messing with some stuff in, looks like white powder, in these like Ziploc bags. Then the scene kind of jumps to Zaena, who is presented to us as like this model, and she's trying to tell us that what we see is not really her, and yes, I have all these models around me, but there's another story, there's another side to me. And then another part of the scene is a man who I guess he wanted to be flogged by these dominatrixes, but unfortunately he is not having a good time. He looks completely miserable. There's another scene called Walk the Line that also features Zaena, but it also features Jason. This woman begins voguing, and the next thing you know, she's kind of talking or singing towards Zaena, and then they look at the camera and they're singing, and then we see Jason from, I believe it's Jason, from the neck down, and he's getting dressed and putting this suit on and presenting himself, and it just is universal for all men who have to put on their shirts and their slacks and their ties or their bow ties and just get it together and go out. But the final segment that I liked the most was called I Need Love. It was so romantic. It was beautiful. It was sultry. I loved how at one point the men had on what looked like World War I or World War II type inspired fashions. And then the woman was kind of standing there, and she was covering her breasts at one point, and then she was wearing this pretty dress, and then we see her and she's wearing these corset-like bodysuit tops that remind me of the things that like modern contemporary pop artists are wearing now, like Lady Gaga and Beyonce, and I'm not sure if Rihanna's ever worn one of those, but probably somewhere during her career she's worn one, and she looks so pretty. And then we see the man, and he's just like, he's wearing these pants and these suspenders, and you can tell that it is a style from like the 40s or the 30s or the 50s. I believe it's probably more than likely the 40s, because I'm not sure if men wore their pants up that high in the 50s. And at one point in the scene, it's basically the man and the woman presenting themselves to one another, and then they intertwine in this web-like scene with this black background where it seems like they're making love, they're becoming one, and then the woman kind of gives the man her heart, but she doesn't actually take it out, but you see her heart like kind of beating like this, bump, 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 which I thought was really pretty. And then we hear Jason rapping these lyrics where he's basically saying, you know what, I'm at a point in my life where I'm tired of being with all these women. I just want to be with one woman. And in the end, the man and the woman get together. And this piece ends as a whole with the man from the beginning. In the post-apocalyptic world, we are able to see how he acquired his mannequin lover, and how the world has kind of blown up around him, and yet he's still, I guess, shopping, and he's still driving all the way home. So what did I think of this video as a whole? I really enjoyed it. The only thing that I wish was that it was a lot longer, because I would love to see maybe a second part to this, Fashion the Visual Album Part 2. I enjoyed the interviews. It was nice to hear Zaena and Jason speak about their passion project. They seemed so happy and overjoyed, and I was happy for them. It's amazing how they put this together, despite the fact that they didn't have this big Hollywood budget. They were able to recruit people to help them, and they put this together in such a short time, and they put their all into it, and it shows, and it's beautiful, and it just brings you in and it captivates you. I wanted to thank Austin Slott and Maek, as well as Jason Maek and Zaena, for allowing me to have this chance to not only watch this beautiful piece unfold, but also to review this. This is something new for me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. I'm Sage Valentine. I'm just so happy after watching this piece, and I hope that there's a part 2, a 3, and a 4. So until next time, bye guys. Bye.